Volume 2 is out October 7th from Bobby Weir and Wolf Brothers. You can catch Bobby and Wolf Brothers on tour now with upcoming shows in D.C. with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center. Listen to Anderson's limited series podcast, All There Is with Anderson Cooper. New episodes out Wednesdays, available wherever you get podcasts. Greg Doshin is the creative director of Camp High. It's so great. You founded that with John Mayer, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes, very good. I cannot say enough about Anderson's new podcast. It's about grief and dealing with grief, and it's a subject that you know all too well, Anderson. And it's so moving, and I've wept listening to it. And it's just an incredible listen. And it made me think, as I was thinking about tonight, it just made me wonder, how did you grapple with the loss of Jerry? As you know, he's talking about grief every week on the podcast. How did you get your head around that, Bob?
Well, I tell you what, I'm not sure I ever did. I was just wondering about that, and I think, you know, what I did was what am I going to do? I'm going to hit the road. That's what Jerry would wanted me to do, and I did. I stayed on the road for a long time after Jerry checked out, and you know, by the time I finally came home and my wounds were all licked and I was okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I ever really. I guess I processed the grief to a greater extent than not, just by playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was talking to Laurie Anderson, who's in an upcoming episode, who's an artist I really admire. And one of the things she was saying is, in her mind, people turn into other things. People turn into music. People turn into love. Her friend, she talks about Václav Havel, who was the leader of Czechoslovakia, who she says has turned into an airport because she flew into Czechoslovakia and the airport is named after him. She was like, oh, I didn't know my friend has turned into an airport. But I like the idea that people turn into other things, and that, you know, going out on the road and playing music,
right,
which was your bond,
yeah,
is, I mean, he's alive in that.
Yeah, every bit. And I found him there. I could hear him in the back of my head. You know, I could feel him. You know, don't go there. Don't go. Okay, if you got to go there, then don't do that. Oh, if you got to do, and you know, it was our relationship never changed much.
Yeah.
And
well, you still have a relationship, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very much alive, and he shows up in my dreams and all that kind of stuff. And so, I gotta say, I don't grieve all that ferociously about anybody's passing. I've had 2 sets of parents, and they're all gone now, and all the rest of both of my families grieved heavily, or you know, some of them grieved heavily, and I just don't do that. I just carry them with me. You know, I'm of the persuasion that you know, life is eternal and we reincarnate, and so there's really limited point in grieving your own loss, when you should actually feel happy for their liberation.
Wow.
And you know, I that's how I feel about it. So I don't grieve that much.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I think if you get to that place, I mean, for a lot of people, if there's from a Buddhist background or whatever, a religious background or whatever the background, there's many people who feel that. Laurie talked about when she lost, she talked about Lou Reed dying, and the sort of this feeling of sort of not grieving the way she had read people are supposed to, but kind of listening to herself. And people grieve in different ways, and sort of just listening yourself and grieving in however you do, and whether it's playing music and continuing on the road, or, you know, staying at home, and whatever it may be. But I think, I just think what I love about you asking this question is loss and grief is just something we don't talk about very much. And I think it's nice, and there's so much isolation surrounding it. It's nice that, I love hearing that story. It's nice to have people be able to talk about their feelings about people who are gone.
It's so relatable, and I just you got to listen to this podcast.
I got to do that now.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
I haven't been listening to many podcasts, but I will.
Bob, I can't imagine what your answer could be to this. Do you have a favorite song from your catalog? Is there one that no, you don't? Does it change? Do you have songs that when you're on the road, you're like, wow, I'm really feeling...
And you know, every night a different song is going to sit up and beg. And well, I didn't know that about the characters in the songs.
Yeah.
You know, when I go on stage, the guy standing in front of the microphone is not really even there. It's the characters. You learn over the years to let the characters come through. And those characters, after a little while, they start showing me other facets, other sides of their character, and they just fill out.
Yeah. Wow. Let's go back to the virtual fans. David from Boston, what's your question for Bob Weir?
Hey, Andy. Paul McCartney has said the melody to Yesterday came to him in a dream. Was there a Grateful Dead song that you dreamt and then proceeded to write the next day?
Interesting question.
Yeah, a number of them, actually. I'm trying to think of one in specific that I woke up with the melody in my head. I can't bring that. The answer is yes. The answer is a number of them.
Wow. And you just woke up and started putting it down.
In the middle of the night, you wake up, and it's a little deal I've made with the muse. If she
Do you have like a notepad by your bed?
Whatever I need to grab, yeah.
Because I've had things I've thought of when I've sleep, or I wake up and I want to remember, and then I slip back asleep and I forget them.
Well, hit record.
That's a slippery slope, because if you start doing that, then more of it comes and you never get any sleep. But at the same time, you got to be prepared. I used to have a little dictaphone by my bed, you know, but a phone will do it now.
Yeah. Here is Paul from New Jersey with a question for Anderson.
Oh, I'm not Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a question for Anderson?
I actually do. I'm Diane from Boca. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Diane, you doing okay down there in Florida?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Just some like little tornadoes, but I just wanted to send my thoughts to everyone affected by Ian. So.
Okay. What's your question for Anderson?
Yeah, after all of these amazing discoveries that you're finding, would you ever consider donating your mom's belongings to a museum or maybe having an exhibit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. My mom died 3 years ago. I've been going through her stuff, and that was the genesis of this podcast, which is what her question is about. And yeah, I'm not really sure. At this point, I'm just kind of trying to collate stuff into boxes and then smaller boxes and make sense of it all. And but yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll probably donate you know, a lot of it to collections and stuff in museums that are out there. But I'm finding it's so interesting, just the stuff she saved. I just found this stack of like telegrams from Frank Sinatra that when they were dating, and they're exactly what you would want love telegrams from Frank Sinatra to be. They're like,
wow.
Yeah, your feller on the white horse is coming to town, star. Call me, Crestview 45678.
Wow. Did you ever meet Sinatra?
No. Oh, I saw him, but I never met him.
Saw him in concert?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever intersect with McCartney or Lennon?
I played with Paul a couple of years back at Fenway Park, and never met John Lennon.
Yeah. Anyone that you wanted to collaborate with that you never got a chance to, or still want to?
That list is endless.
That list is endless. Yeah. Wow. I want to thank Bob. I want to thank Anderson. I want to thank Greg. For more, click around BravoTV.com. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Watch more clips here and subscribe to our channel here. See ya.